And Portland drivers are in for a lot of detours in the coming days because of coronavirus. The city now working to limit driving on dozens of blocks to local access only as a way to provide more space for walkers and cyclists. Joining us live this morning via FaceTime is John Brady. He's with the Portland Bureau of Transportation to explain a little more about some of these changes we're going to see on our roadways. John, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
So tell us a little bit about this new initiative and when we're going to start seeing some barriers going up.
Right. So it's called our Slow Streets, Safe Streets initiative. And you're right, it's a way for us to provide Portlanders with some more space to safely social distance, to get some exercise and fresh air around near their homes as per the governor's order. And in this first part, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be slowing traffic down on our neighborhood greenways. This is the neighborhood greenways. That's our network of 100 miles of low traffic neighborhood streets. And what we've seen since the start of the public health emergency is that people have been using these neighborhood greenways like we designed them for, as a way to walk and bike near home to get that exercise and fresh air. And what this is it's just a way to slow the traffic down even more. We'll have signage to raise awareness for people who are driving that they should be on the lookout for people who are walking and biking, so that all of us together can get through this.
So are we talking physical barriers or physical signage or just something kind of off to the side? Like, is something actually going to be blocking some traffic?
Yeah, so I think what's really important is these are not hard closures. So the roads won't be closed. We're limiting them to local access. So if you live on the street, or if you're going someplace on the street, or if there's a business on the street that you're visiting, although many of the greenways really aren't in business districts, but if that's the case, then you can use the street. So it's not a hard closure. I think that's really important. Mm-hmm. And so what people are going to see, and it's really not even barricades, they're the barrels, on those white and orange barrels that you'll often see like on the highway during construction. So it'll be one of those, one or two of those, depending if it's a wider street, we'll put one barrel in the middle, kind of at the center line, and then there will be one off to the side, and they'll have the signage, local access only, and then it'll also have the signage about, hey, watch out, this is a shared street, slow down, watch out for your neighbors.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I know we've talked to people who have described sometimes playing sidewalk Frogger as they try to avoid people and bikers on the sidewalks, and so this is going to give them more space to do that. But what are some of the things that are not allowed in the streets, even though we're blocking this to local traffic only? What can people still not do?
Yeah, so in no way should this isn't like to gather or anything like that. Don't start putting furniture or anything like that out on the street, right? These remain streets, and it's just that we're slowing them down, and so that people can, like I said, get out. But it's not in any way, it's not a closure or anything like that. And really, that would be the exact opposite of what we want to achieve if people started gathering in these streets, right? We want people to just move through them, use them as they would normally use them to walk, bike, and roll and drive, but just to do so safely.
John, any idea how long these changes are expected to last, or what indicators you're going to be watching to decide when you could maybe reverse some of these changes?
Yeah, I think that's the $64 million question, right? It's really hard to say, and we're going to be looking at the advice and the regulations that are coming from the governor's office and from our public health officials. I should say that the second part of this initiative is to start to do some of this, create space too for, as businesses slowly reopen, we know that we're going to be needing more space like on our sidewalks so people can line up safely and things like that. So we're also looking at the possibility of doing that. That will come as the state slowly reopens, and will really be governed by that. But it's really hard to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no timeline just yet, but I know we'll of course be checking back in with you as this all progresses. John, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for talking with us, and stay healthy.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, take care. And for more information on safe streets, slow streets, you can head over to coin.com. We have a link to all of the details there about the pilot project.